Alright, guys, today we're going to be reacting to Bill Maher's Humiliates Kamala Harris and send her into a meltdown. Let's jump in and see what's going on here.
Bill Maher criticized Kamala Harris and other politicians and explained why Kamala Harris is a bad presidential candidate. According to Bill Maher, the current political process and Biden's cognitive decline have messed up everything in America. As Maher explains, Kamala Harris is a terrible presidential candidate and she needs to be replaced as fast as possible or things will get out of control. This is a very interesting story, so let's explain
Let's see when this was. Oh, that was 4 days ago. Okay, very recent. Okay.
everything. So 2 days ago, Bill Maher expressed his confusion on X and
Maher.
tweeted a video where he talked about why Kamala Harris is a bad presidential candidate. In a video, Maher was astonished by Harris's statements about Trump because, as Maher stated in his tweet, with these rates, he thinks Trump will win the next election very easily. Maher responded to Harris's statements about Trump, where Kamala said that Trump is a total monster and Trump is a dictator. In response, Maher asked, "So why is Trump winning? If you look at the polls in swing states, Trump is beating her because Harris is a bad presidential candidate." Maher also added, "You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers." Then Maher talked about Harris's future in the 2024 presidential race and explained why Kamala Harris is a bad presidential candidate, doubting her chances of being the Democratic candidate. Maher believes the real question is not if Harris will run, but who will take her place. Maher said, "The issue with Harris isn't if, it's who. Who will replace her? Because she is not going to be the Democrats' candidate for president in 2024. Maher said, "The walls will keep crumbling, and my pick in the office pool for when she gives it up is very soon. Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first, I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular." Then Maher sarcastically explained,
You know what's crazy? And I don't think at this point they have to go with her. And the way the media is portraying her is like she's the last, the last Coca-Cola in the desert. And you see a lot of these polls are very manipulated. I don't trust the poll. The only thing I know is I'm going to simply just go and vote. And that's going to be it. However, when it comes down to stuff like this, folks, like Bill Maher, this AI thing is just getting me confused. Bill knows something that we don't know. And it's true. Kamala Harris is very unlikable, folks. Very unlikable. Somehow they just wanted to go with her. I don't know why.
she is a bad presidential candidate, and said, "Life isn't fair. It's not fair that she's not popular. She's intelligent and accomplished, and in fact, she was put in charge of the border crisis. And look at how it turned out. Oh, okay, bad example." And this conflict between Maher and the Democratic Party, including Kamala Harris, is not new because everything started 4 years ago. It all started when in 2020, the real-time host criticized the Democratic Party for failing to garner enough seats in the Senate and the House of Representatives. While Biden was able to clinch the victory, Democrats had performed poorly in other areas. An issue, according to Maher, came because of the party's wokeness. In the days leading to the 2020 elections, Maher had warned Democrats to root their politics in common sense and to dial back its wokeness if they wanted to appease an average American voter. Instead, Maher believed that the Democratic Party was too concerned about issues like political correctness and radical left-wing policies. As a response, the HBO host said, "There, in my opinion, is the crux of the problem. Democrats too often don't come off as having common sense to a huge swath of Americans. Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior woke bullshit story in the news.
Yep.
Such politics," Maher pointed out, "doesn't benefit or interest a middle-class voter who isn't busy getting offended by issues like Anne Hathaway playing a witch with 3 fingers. Critics believe the portrayal was insensitive to people with limb differences.
Oh my
a cause
God.
Democrats had rallied behind. For Maher, such conjectures were unnecessarily woke and cost the party precious seats in the 2020 elections. He further warned the Democrats to tone down their wokeness if they wanted a chance.
They're not going to do it. They're in it already. They're in it. At this point, they had to take the L, right? Because the country cannot keep going left. It's going way too left. Now you're messing up with the kids, man. Like, it's just going so lefty right now. that if you're a sensible parent, you cannot allow this to keep happening, unless you're from Vermont or something like that. Because some people from this country, they're crazy, man. These boomers, female boomers, 60s and 70s, in the 50s, Gen X's, they're 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 all. They just want to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. It's the most insane thing ever.
The 2022
No
midterm
policy, no
elections.
rational
Maher
thinking.
said Democrats kept saying in the campaign, "You can't possibly think Trump is preferable to what we're selling." And many voters keep saying, "Yes, we can." In fact, our primary purpose for voting for him is to create a bulwark against you, because your side thinks silence is violence and looting is not. In 2021, Maher's criticism of the Democrats continued. Only this time, the talk show host dragged his party for their COVID-19 mandates. Bill Maher maintained that by 2021, the pandemic was over and lived their lives as they did in the pre-pandemic days. He said, "I just resumed living. I know some people..."
Hey, shout out in the comment section below if you never took the jab. Neither me and my family took the jab, so let me know in the comment section.
Seem to not want to give up on the wonderful pandemic. But you know what? It's over. While there was nothing new about Maher's remarks, he went on to criticize the Democrat lawmakers for imposing strict pandemic-related rules on people. Maher had shared experiences of traveling in the red and blue states. He told his audience that while the Republican states are back to normal and full of joy, it is the Democratic states that are still stuck in the pandemic, mainly because Democrat lawmakers won't ease the mask and quarantine restrictions. It was reported that due to the COVID-19 restrictions, Maher has been unable to have a staff meeting for a few months in 2020.
I didn't even know that.
He wasn't happy about the pandemic-related rules, calling them too much. Starting in 2022, many Democrats began to question Maher's politics due to his rampant criticism of the left. While talking to Ben Shapiro, the comedian declared that his politics hasn't changed a bit. It is the left that has radically shifted.
But that means that you haven't grown. I mean, your politics does change over time. If you haven't changed in the last 20 or 30 years, I mean, that means that you're not doing your homework. You're supposed to change. If you really educate yourself, folks, think about this. That means that you're constantly changing. Does that mean that your politics is going to change either or? You can be on the left or you can be on the right, but that means a lot of things are going to change. A lot of political, you're going to vote with a certain knowledge of things. So you said that you haven't changed. There's something wrong with you.
Worldviews to appear profoundly woke. This wasn't something 5 years ago. Free speech, used to be a left-wing thing that we were proud of and owned, and now that seems to be under attack. The HBO host pointed out that the Democrats are entangled in pointless radical left politics that was never important. For instance, defunding the police was never an argument until Democrats got involved in radical identity politics. For the comedian, liberal immigration policies were contentious too. He further added, "Immigration is an issue where the Democrats are really not getting it. I mean, they're losing the Hispanic vote. Their conception, I think, and it's wrong, is that every Latino in America is thinking, boy, more immigration, that would be the best thing. And a lot of them are thinking, no, I'm here, and the last thing I want is someone else coming over who's going to do my job for a little less money." Maher's criticism carried on to 2023 too, when he pointed out that America is losing its grip over what it means to believe in free speech. The issue was brought up when astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson suggested Maher do his stand-up routines in colleges to appear more relatable to Gen Z audiences. Bill immediately shot the idea down, citing liberal students intolerable of his content. He said, "I have given up on any place that doesn't even remotely attempt to believe in free speech and thinks that anything that they hear, that they don't like, that they don't agree with, is violence." Previously, Maher had also criticized the Democratic Party for infringing on free speech with their woke politics. He believes that the threshold of what's offensive and what isn't has dropped pretty low. Under such an intense political climate, the comic refuses to tell jokes. According to Maher, he has given up on comedy as the cancel culture is too rampant. In 2024, the HBO
That's what we call, it's not the same calling the devil, that's seeing him coming. That's what it is.
Focused his criticism on Kamala Harris and the Democrats. In a rant on his show, Maher had prompted the Democratic Party to stop playing around and replace Harris with a nominee who could actually win the elections for them. Maher pointed out that the Democrats didn't appear to gauge Kamala's growing unpopularity that would have ultimately won the elections for Donald Trump. The only pathway to clinch the 2024 elections was to nominate a relatively less-known candidate for the Democratic front. He further added, "We need some new characters on this sitcom we call a country. These guys, all you need to know is they're moderates, they're under 100 years old, and they have a D next to their names." With Biden out of the race, Maher has his eyes on Kamala Harris, who the comic believes was quieter than an electric car as vice president.
Wow.
Once again, he believes
It is
Democrats
true.
will lose the upcoming elections.
It is true. It is true. She was very quiet through the entire 2 years. Very quiet. She went back to the basement because she already knew what she wanted. She wanted to do at the end. Basically, what? Be the presidential nominee. And the way that she became a presidential nominee, there's no shame. Like, she didn't say, okay, let's just open the process again. Let's just select a better one. No, she just took it. And the Democrats, they were okay with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one.